Welcome back students. Today we will continue with the semiconductors. Yesterday we have discussed up to energy bands in solids, or else band theory of solids. Now you people want to know what is an energy band. Just I will brief the last class. First we considered an isolated atom, that is a single atom, where electrons will be revolving around the nucleus in a definite orbits, and there will be specific number of electrons in a specified orbits, and those electrons possess some energy, that is binding energy. The lower orbit electrons possess more negative energy than the higher orbits. That means it is easy to detach higher orbit electrons than the lower ones. That is in case of isolated atoms. What about when the solid forms? In the solid formation, these atoms need to interact with the neighboring atoms. In a solid, there will be millions of atoms. So, these electrons revolving in orbits gets distracted by the neighboring atoms. Usually, the higher orbit electrons will be gets distracted. Yesterday we saw the outermost orbit is called a valence orbit, where valence electrons are present, or else the electrons in the outermost orbit are called valence electrons. Okay. The energy possessed by when you consider a solid, the energy possessed by these valence electrons, there are billions of atoms, so you will get that many number of valence orbit, and that many number of how many electrons are present in the valence orbit, those are called valence electrons. That many, that is proportional, valence electrons again proportional to that number of atoms. Okay. Those valence electrons of all the atoms possess energies. Those energies are not same. Each atom is unique. So, the energies possessed by the valence electrons forms a group of energy or a band of energy, that is called valence band. This valence band is either completely filled or partially filled. Okay. On top of the valence band, below the valence band, what you will get? Completely filled inner bands. On top of the valence band, you will get conduction band, where the valence electrons get sufficient energy and jumps out of the valence band, and they become free. Those are called as free electrons, and the energy possessed by these free electrons or the energy level occupied by these free electrons is called conduction band. Just to give valence band, energy level occupied by valence electrons is nothing but valence band. The energy level occupied by free electrons is called as conduction band. So, yesterday we were discussing the atomic structure and these electrons revolving in specified orbits. Between the two orbits, as I have told you, the lower orbits, that means the orbits closest to the nucleus, those electrons which are revolving in the orbits closest to the nucleus possess more negative energy compared to orbits away from the nucleus. So, if the electrons wants to jump from the lower orbit to higher it should get some energy. It should get some external energy. So there will be energy gap between the two orbits. In the same way, usually the lower orbits will less affected compared to higher orbits. So now we will talk about only valence band and conduction band, because valence band is the topmost, outermost orbit. So we'll forget about the lower ones which are less affected by the solid formation. The more affected will be the electrons which are present in the outermost orbit. Those are valence electrons. These valence electrons possess some energy that is called valence band, and there will be gap between these valence band and conduction band, and that is called as the separation between the valence band and conduction band, the energy level diagram. This diagram is called as energy level. The separation between the valence band and conduction band, the energy level diagram, is called forbidden energy gap. And it is represented by Eg and measure the unit electron volt. Electron volt is a unit for energy of minute particles. In your MK system or in your SI system, joule is a unit for the measurement of energy, whereas while measuring the electron energies or minute energies or tiny particles energies, we use the unit electron volt, because if you use joule, it will be a larger unit for these minute particles. So what do you mean by forbidden energy gap? It is the separation between the valence band and the conduction band in the energy level diagram, and it is represented by E suffix G. This is the energy. If the valence electron wants to jump from valence band to conduction band, you should give the energy either equal to the Eg or more than Eg. Then the electron will jump. If the electron acquires the energy more than this forbidden energy gap, you should fill this gap. Then it will jump to conduction band and conductivity starts. Then the external voltage is applied. Okay. So what is valence band? This conduction band. The separation between the conduction band and valence band in the energy level diagram, that is called forbidden energy gap. Okay. Now we'll look into the classification of solids on the basis of this energy level diagram. Solids are classified into three types. In that, first one will go with conductors. Conductors are those which allow electric current to flow through them. Or you can also tell conductors are those substances which allow electric charges to flow through them. Examples for conductors: copper, aluminium, any metal you can take. Energy level diagram for a conductor. This is our conduction band. This is our valence band. Valence band is up to here and conduction band In conductors, valence band and conduction band are overlap each other. Here there is no forbidden energy gap. In conductors, valence band and conduction band are overlapped and there is no forbidden energy gap. So, the valence electrons which are present in valence band can easily move into conduction band and start conducting when a small voltage is applied. That is why you can expect easy conductivity in conductors. Okay. Whereas in insulators, conductors ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ವಾಹಕಗಳು. Insulators are nothing but ಅವಾಹಕಗಳು. How will you define insulator? Insulator are substances which do not allow electric current to flow through them or which do not allow charges to flow through them. Examples: paper, glass, wood, mica, rubber, and energy level diagram for insulator. This is our conduction band. And the valence band is here, which is very far when you look into energy level diagram of insulators. Here you can observe in insulators there is a large energy gap which is almost equal to approximately equal to 5 electron volt. In conductors there was no forbidden energy gap. What about in case of insulators? Just opposite. There is a large energy gap is approximately equal to 5 electron volt. So there are very less chances or that they are impossible for the valence electrons to jump from valence band to conduction band at room temperature, because if you give the external energy also, these electrons will not be capable of absorbing that, or will not be capable of, the energy will not be sufficient to jump from valence band to conduction band. Therefore, in insulators there is no conductivity. You cannot expect conductivity at room temperature. If you still increase the temperature or still heat it up, it will break down. Therefore, insulators there is a large forbidden energy gap between the valence and conduction band, and therefore there is no conductivity. So the definition, insulators will not allow electric current to flow through them. Next, semiconductors. Where in semiconductors this is our valence band, conduction band, whereas the valence band and the forbidden energy gap here in semiconductor approximately equal to 1 electron volt. In semiconductors, the forbidden energy gap is approximately equal to 1 electron volt. That is, there is very small energy gap between the valence band and conduction band. So, if you give a small amount of energy, or if you increase the temperature, just heat it up, the valence electrons absorb extra energy or gains extra energy and jumps to conduction band easily and start conducting. What about at room temp at 0 degree Kelvin? No temperature. What about at low temperature? What I have told? Valence electrons should jump to conduction band. Then there will be conductivity. When it will jump, it should be given some external energy. What about at 0 degree Kelvin or 0 degree temperature? At 0 degree temperature, these semiconductors behave as perfect insulators. But at room temperature, these valence electrons gain some external energy and jumps to conduction band from valence band and start conductivity. Our semiconductor materials examples: silicon and germanium, and the energy gap, the forbidden energy gap for silicon is approximately equal to 1.1 electron volt. For germanium, it is 0.7 electron volt. In germanium, you can expect the conductivity easier than silicon, but when the semiconductor materials which are designed for high voltage applications, in high power applications, silicon is preferred because of its temperature withstanding capabilities. Okay. On the basis of energy level diagram, solids are classified into 3 types. Those are conductor, insulators and semiconductors. And in conductors, there will not be any forbidden energy gap. Conduction band and valence band are overlapped. So you can expect conductivity easily. Whereas in case of insulators, there is a large forbidden energy gap which is approximately equal to 5 electron volt. So you cannot expect any flow of current in insulators. Whereas in semiconductors, at room temperature, the valence electrons gain sufficient energy and jump to conduction band easily because of the very less forbidden energy gap. So, in the examination there may be a question: classify the solids on the basis of energy level diagram. That time you need to write all these diagrams with the explanation about conductor, insulator and semiconductors. Okay. Now we look into atomic structure of silicon and germanium. In silicon, the atomic number is 14. Here, central hardcore nucleus which consists of protons and neutrons. and in the first orbit there are 2 electrons, and in the second orbit there are 8 electrons, which is fixed, that you people know it. The third orbit, 8 plus 2 is 10. How many are remaining? 4 are remaining. So there are 4 valence electrons you can tell in silicon. In silicon, in the outermost orbit, there are 4 valence electrons are there. So it can be called as tetravalent. For germanium, the atomic number is 32. Central hardcore nucleus. In the first orbit there are 2 electrons. In the second orbit there are 8 electrons. And in the third orbit there are 18 electrons. And in the, how many remain? Again 4 remain. 2 plus 8, 10 plus 18, 28. For the germanium, for the last orbit, the fourth orbit, which is the outermost orbit, there are 4 electrons. So silicon and germanium are tetravalent atoms. Here one thing I have told you, in germanium the conductivity you can achieve easily, because in the germanium the valence electrons which are most distracted, which you want to jump from valence band to conduction band, are in the 4th orbit, whereas in case of silicon it is in 3rd orbit. As I have told you, it is easy to detach those electrons which are present in the higher orbits and the lower ones. So germanium valence electrons are easily detached with the energy